Welcome to the Numerology and the Astrology for April 12th, 2020. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 11. The 11 is a mastery number, and it's a number of transcendence and consciousness. I like to think of this number as the Leonardo da Vinci number. So it's like Leonardo da Vinci. You want to be open to lots of things. You want to see the symmetry that connects all things rather than to show the differences. You want to find the commonality. You want to find how all these pieces come together. The number 11 is a synthesizer of information, which means that it does not deny or restrict any information, that it allows all the information to come in. And it sorts it based on truth and applicability. So that does it apply? Does it relate to this moment? Is this simply opinion and not actually truth? But it's someone's opinion. And so to be able to have that discernment. The number 11, because it's a number of discernment, makes you look at things and go, I believe that they believe what they just said. That doesn't mean it's true. But I believe that they believe it. And so I have to deal with their beliefs, but I don't have to accept their beliefs as fact. It's the lesson of taking the rationality of the mind, which is the number 2. So if you take the 1 and the 1 and the 11 and you add them together, you get the number 2. So, you have to have a mind, but the mind is supposed to be a slave to the soul, and not the other way around. And so unfortunately in our society, we think that our mind and our knowledge is precedent, and we think it is who we are. And as the Buddhists say, you are not your mind, you are not what you think, you are not your opinions, you're not your beliefs. You are not your feelings, because feelings are transient, and you're not your physical body. So what are you if you are not all of those things? Well, you're a soul inhabiting a body. So your soul is the mastery of this energy field. And so because of that, you want to think outside of the box, not contract down into So this is one of those tricky little things. And so here we are, we're in this Mastery 11 year. We're in this year where we want to think outside, a day where we're trying to think outside of the box. And there are always those people who will get afraid. And because whenever you expand, there will be contraction, and you will contract down into the number 2, or the negative mind, or the critical mind, or criticism, and into blaming. So the universe is trying to help us expand into something beyond the old repetitive patterns that humanity keeps falling into. We will see if this time we succeed in stepping past the harsh lessons that historically have happened when lies and denial take precedence over truth and freedom. I believe that we can step into another place where caring for our world and each other is seen as essential and not a luxury. Without that strong agreement that radical change is essential, we risk everything we have co-created again, and we fall into the negativity that threatens to swallow hope. Now, negativity, you have to understand the power of negativity. Negativity swallows civilizations. The fall of Rome was swallowed by the negativity in the mind. Same thing is true of the Mayan and the Incan. And all of these cultures get swallowed up by the negativity that they have co-created. It's not like we're not guilty of co-creating this. So I personally am going to continue to refuse to let the bullies and those who hold hate in their heart dictate my actions and choices. And I hope you want to come with me. And together, then we can stand up and change what is happening right now. But it is going to take all of us, and it's going to take years to undo the destruction that has been happening to freedoms all over the world. And I know that there are those that can and will take everything you have if you let them. That's just history. And the one thing that I know that no one should ever give up their autonomy and their freedom, like ever, for any reason. Nor should you give up your love and hope for a better world, ever. So I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. But at the very least, I want you to think of this moment as a moment where you recognize that nature is getting a break. Nature is getting a timeout. Turtles are getting to be on the beaches and lay their eggs without hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on the beaches interrupting their natural cycles. This is an incredibly good thing for nature, that we are not doing what we normally do. And if nothing else, you're giving nature a gift. And I see that as a mastery of consciousness. If we can have self-discipline to restrict our addictive patterns and obsessions that are really an avoidance of what we need to feel and drop into. Because if we feel and drop into it, it's really scary that we are the problem. We are the toxin on the planet. We are not being the solution. We can be the solution. Absolutely, we can be the solution. We are supposed to be stewards of this planet, but that is not necessarily what's been happening. So I would love for us to take back our stewardship and take back our responsibility and stand up for what is right. And I know we can do it. It's the fact of, will we do it? And that's what I'm hopeful for. Okay, the astrology on Easter Sunday. The moon is void, of course, which is means it doesn't make any connections or aspects to any other planets. And since it doesn't like to do that, it doesn't necessarily like to do that, and because it feels best when it's relating to other planets, it has a tendency to create a lull. And I hope this will manifest in a quiet holiday where everyone is not going to church. But you can pray at home. I mean, my gosh, we should be praying at home. I think it's sort of ridiculous that we think that if we go into a building that we are spiritual. And I'm like, I remember years ago that the guide said to me, don't get me wrong, we're really happy that you meditate every day, but your life should be a meditation. And I think it's the same with church. I love that, we have this place where we come together as a community and we as a unified whole pray together and work together for a common good. And I think that is very powerful. But this is that moment in consciousness where you should be spiritual every single day of your life. I mean, you should be looking at everything as if, are these part of the premises of my belief systems? Am I doing actions that align with those beliefs? Because if you don't, then you should be looking at yourself. You should be looking at yourself. So this is this great moment that you get to be Easter. You get to be that celebration of the resurrection. And what are you resurrecting? What inside of you needs to be resurrected? Honestly, I think our humanity needs to be resurrected at this point. That's what I would focus on. And compassion. Okay, so I know everybody is self-isolating. And I want you to meditate on your highest self and give yourself a chance, because the moon is void, of course, to catch up on the laundry, cut the grass, take a nap. So the theme this Easter is to take your time and to do quiet and humble projects. I personally have been working on putting a new fence around my garden area to keep the deer out, which is a great project, quite a big project, and it takes a lot of time and help from my husband and us working together to pull the fence through. And working together is always the best. And I just remind everybody to allow the other person that's in your life to give their greatest gift. So my husband's an engineer, and it's like, do I know how all these things get put together? No. Do I know how to twist the little clips for the fence? No. Let somebody have their gift and skill. And I'm like, I'll do whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want, because I'm not an engineer. I don't know how many feet of fence we need. I don't know how these clips work. I totally bow to your expertise. And, it's so cute because he just looks at me and he goes, thank you. Right. Because So oftentimes we challenge our mate in something, and I go, you know what? I don't know anything about this. I'm not an engineer. I am your helper in this moment, and you tell me what to do and I will do it. And my ego is not in the way. And I think that, this is a great day to do this. The moon is void, of course. Let somebody have their expertise. Now, again, he's not going to tell me how to cook dinner, necessarily, because I'm just a better cook. And so everyone has their spot that they're great. So let them have their spot. All right. Now, the moon is going to be in Sagittarius and it's going to square Neptune. And so let yourself dream, but do not deceive yourself. Stay balanced internally to the external world that is clearly out of balance. Be sensitive to what others and yourself are going through, but don't get caught up in too much fear trying to figure out the future, because honestly, none of us know how this is really going to work out. So let your nervous system rest. Be hopeful, but be realistic. Now, the sun is in Aries and it's going to trine the moon in Sagittarius. So discover and allow for recognizing the amazing gift of connection and healing that this moment is offering you. Notice that you're being given a chance, given a chance to change and connect to loved ones and have those and have those important conversations that have needed to happen to free yourself from the past. This evening, the moon is going to go into Capricorn, making things get serious again. So before it does that, take the time to get on the phone and laugh with your best friend from high school, or laugh with somebody that you knew in your 20s, and to catch up. I mean, it's important, catch up with how your exes are doing and what's happening in their world, not from a needy place, but from a place of genuine care and concern and love, because anybody who's been in your life that's important is what I consider spiritual family. And that's an incredibly important person in your life. So even if you're not with them at this point anymore, recognize that person changed you and changed you into being a better and more conscious person. And that's a beautiful gift that they gave you. Okay. Now, when the moon goes into Capricorn, things get serious again, and it happens this evening around 7 p.m. And so, you need to concentrate and be determined in this time of great change. You have important things that you need to do. You can see that you have neglected yourself for way too long. Enjoy this moment where you can rediscover the beauty and creative expression that you are inside. Your focus will improve because of the moon going into Capricorn, and you will, really need to do more as the days progress, but you will do it with more clarity, which is nice. Okay. My quote for a day is another poem. Thank you guys for indulging me. This is, again, what happens when I have too much time, like this poetic self comes out. I must have been a ballad singer or, something in a past life. I love poetry. Anyway, you cannot turn off your heart and your chest. You cannot let anyone take from you your best. Within your soul is a precious spark, something that has been with you from the start. A light that has always guided your way, a light that has kept the darkness at bay. It is that light that you can trust. It is that light that evil wants trust. You have allowed the world to become sick, and that allows great evil to stick. It slithers in search of wealth and gold. It listens not to truth when it is told. You can tell those whose heart has been turned. They believe the lies and are unconcerned. The evil festers deep in their heart and uses fear and anger as a dark art. To rid the darkness in your soul, you have to connect to your celestial pole. Then you reclaim what is your true north. You will claim your own direction and go forth. Then the powers that have held such a hold will be seen as shackles, even if they are made of gold. Freedom comes not from great wealth. Freedoms are taken with aggression and stealth. It is up to you to refuse another's path, especially ones from aggressive sociopaths. If you listen to the light, you will know the way, and from their prisons you will walk away. Okay, thank you. Now, I put my blog for today is actually this fabulous song from Dolores King, which I suggest you look up on YouTube. And no, I'm not singing it today, but thank you anyway. So this is called Never Be the Sun by Dolores King. You'll never be the sun turning in the sky, and you won't be the moon above us in the moonlight. And you won't be the stars in heaven, though they burn so bright. But even on the deepest ocean, you will be the light. You will not always shine as you go barefoot over stones. You might be so long together, or you might walk alone. And you'll find that love comes easy, or that love is always right. So even when the storm clouds gather, you will be the light. And if you lose a parting side when love turns round on you, leaving the past behind is knowing you'll do like you always do. Holding you blind, keeping you true. You'll never be the sun turning in the sky. You won't be the moon above us on the moonlit night. And you won't be the stars in heaven, though they burn so bright. But even in the deepest ocean, you will be the light. You will be the light. You will be the light. Okay. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a fabulous day. I'm going back out to the garden. We're transplanting some little seedlings into bigger pots, and we are finishing our fence if the day allows us to, and it's cold and drippy today. So Northern California, we love the rain. Thank you, God, for the rain. It got us for the rain. It's fantastic. Got a little bit last night and into this morning. Take care of yourself. Stay in. Love each other. Laugh with each other. Call each other out. It'll be a good day. Bye.